Just gonna do this thing.
Yeah.
All right, let's just do this thing. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Check Service Industry Podcast. I'm Reyshan Parker. If you haven't yet, please go watch my TV show, Beyond the Check, Worker Owner Edition, now streaming on Amazon Prime and Tubi TV. Tubi TV, it's Fox's free TV. I have with me today in studio a man who has traveled from coast to coast. He has eaten in all 47 continental states. Ladies and gentlemen, the Rideshare Foodie.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? It's the Rideshare Foodie.
A.K.A. Kreskin Torres.
Kreskin J. Torres.
Or flip that, reverse it, Kreskin Torres. A.K.A. the Rideshare Foodie.
I'm having an awesome time, man. It's a great time. And if you don't want to know where my name came from, it's a magician. The Amazing Kreskin.
Oh.
And I guess I'm living up to the name.
I was curious about that.
Yeah, the Amazing Kreskin. That's what I was named after. My grandmother loved the magician. And named my dad, so really, technically, I'm named after my dad, but you get where I'm going. She liked the name and it was unique, so.
You're Kreskin Jr.
Kreskin Jr.
But also the magical food man.
Hey, I guess that's my magic trick.
My father's name is James.
Great segue.
So, and my first name is actually James, so. But I'm not James Jr. because I'm Reyshan and he was Leroy. So is the J the same too, or no? What's the J stand for?
Jeremiah.
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 Not Jeremiah.
Not Jeremiah. Jeremiah.
Jeremiah.
It's my grandfather's. What was it? My grandfather's name? Great grandfather's name. And mom was like, she wanted to use it, so Jeremiah. Was it Jermia?
Well, we both have cool names.
Yes, it's really cool.
Name games.
Name games.
Kreskin. It's just fun to say. Not as fun. Rideshare Foodie is also fun to say.
Yeah, it's just awesome. I'm just glad because it's because I was actually okay. So it was gonna be Justin. That is what my mom told me she wanted my name to be, or that they really wanted to go with. And at the end, they decided Kreskin, which I'm glad because there's so many Justins. You know, it's not enough Kreskins. Maybe there at some point in time, maybe later down the line or something, it's like, yeah, you know, Kreskin is a food guy, and now I want to name, you know, that's where I got the name from. I don't know.
Yeah, if you were just like, if you were,
I like the name.
You were Justin, aka the Rideshare Foodie. It's not quite as fun.
Yeah.
No.
Very unique.
I mean, Kreskin Torres is a very strong name, just all around. Kreskin Torres.
Yeah.
Sounds like a badass. Because you are a badass.
Yeah.
Anyway, real quick,
badass food guy.
Real quick, just let's just tell everybody. Let's just tell everybody what this man has accomplished in the last year. Man. In the last year, you have driven from, where did you start? Baltimore?
I started in 2018, so this has been 4.5 years.
4.5 years.
But 2020,
no,
2020 is when I came up with the name
Rideshare
Foodie. That was like the missing link. Like, listen, what is your name? Like, what is, the catch? You know, who's the guy? Who are you? And 4 years and started in Baltimore. Just the first trip was wanted to see the West Coast. I'd never been to the West Coast, so I was like, I'm gonna take a trip, and my main destination is California. And I left, and I was like, I'll just hit a few states along the way that I've never been, and I wanted to explore, and I'll do rideshare along the way, Uber, Lyft, and make cash and fund my trip. I mean, to me, it felt like it just made sense, but I guess to people that do it, or like people that never thought about doing it, it's like a revelation, like something you just figured out, or
right?
It's the puzzle that's just, I'm like, I understand it, but to me, it just made sense. I'm pretty sure I can drive in other cities and do the same thing we're doing here.
When I first found you, I was like, oh, well, that's just brilliant. Like, oh yeah, you can just drive across the country and
do the food thing.
Do the food thing.
Yeah, I just wanted to create a different approach.
Because before there was like no way to really be able to maintain an income unless you were
picked
wealthy.
up by somebody or sponsored or something
to travel
that. And have the time to do it. And I like it because also you get to, you get by doing rideshare, you get to go to pretty much every neighborhood because people are taking you to every part of their city. So you get to see everything, and jot this stuff down like supermarkets or where to go for convenience stores, gas, whatever. You get to take all the stuff in and give people a pic. Someone called me the walking Google. I was at a shop in Atlanta and this guy was like, man, you're like the walking Google. Like
because what did you Google?
Map it, find these
Google
places and you map them. Yeah, you map them, and then even places that aren't like people don't know about, you're finding them and you're putting them out there. So that's very interesting.
But like you're running on a human algorithm,
exactly?
Right?
Yeah, it's
so it's just humans calling, picking up the rides, going to where they want you to go, and just this random universe.
And then they're telling you it's like a whole world. Like, it's really interesting. It's really interesting. I just wanted to like, while I'm doing it, get to reality, like what's really going on, or where people really go. And these are people that, like, when I pick up from work, Walmart and such, they're like, they get off like 10, 11, 12 in the morning and exhausted. And they're like, oh, you this is your first time? What are you doing here in Louisville? Like, and that's how you say it, Louisville. Louisville. It was a hard way. Yeah. And it's like, well, what are you doing over there? And they've never been outside of their city. Like, most of the time, that's the common denominator. I've never been outside. I've been here my whole life. What is it like on the outside? It's like prison. I'm like, what is it, Shawshank? Like, you've never been outside. Like, they've never been outside. So like, what are you doing? Because usually nobody really come down. But that's what I like doing. Like, going to these places people don't expect or don't, think somebody's going to come visit. Just to see these, to find out what's going on and then share it with other people. That's like, I didn't know that existed, or I didn't know. So I don't know. It's really fun to
because people do live in their own little bubbles, right? And I mean, there's all kinds of little things in tiny little towns that I guess you don't know about unless you're somebody does go there and then post about it.
Yeah, like, and to people that live there, like certain, like I gave an example, and I have a buddy of mine that lives in Hastings, Nebraska, and they have a Kool-Aid festival or Kool-Aid days every year. It's a Kool-Aid festival, or whatever. What? They have a Kool-Aid parade, and
is that where Kool-Aid was invented?
It was invented. I didn't know this.
Okay.
And the only reason I found out because he was like, I asked her, I was like, hey, so how's everything in Nebraska? And she's like, it's good. I was like, so what's going on in Hastings? Nothing. It's boring. It's nothing. So I look it up because I'm petty that way. When somebody tells me it's boring, there's nothing to do somewhere, I like to look
because
it up.
It's your hometown. Everybody thinks their hometown is boring and there's nothing to do.
And that was like one of the major things that popped up on Wikipedia is that they host a Kool-Aid.
It's the Kool-Aid Festival.
The Kool-Aid was invented. And I'm like, what? And I'm on a little group on Facebook, and I'm just like, this is who knows about it? And people reaching out like, hey, I'm one of the MCs on the float for the parade. If you want to come and visit. And she's like, well, if I knew that was something you was gonna be really hyped about or something, I would have told you. But to me, I say it all. She's used to it.
Right. But it's something special about your town. Tell me something.
It's different. That doesn't exist everywhere else. So it's just been awesome, and it's so much more. That's the interesting thing. There's so much more that exists
out there
somewhere, like X-Files. The truth is out there. Apparently, it's cool.
Someone just needs to hail you so you can go find it.
Exactly.
That's too cool. So, when you were a kid, what was like? Were you a big like foodie when you were a child, or were you a picky kid?
I just figured this out. I was telling somebody this the other day. So I realized I became a foodie. Right? There was you may laugh. So there was a show. There was a kids show. You ever heard of a show called Zoom?
Zoom.
It was a kids show created by kids, and I won't say produced by kids, but it was created by kids, and the show was hosted by just kids.
What
it was like around
PBS.
It was like the afternoon kid shows. Arthur
must have been after my time.
Arthur Wishbone. Yeah, it was like the early 2000s. I want to say it started late 90s.
I checked out long before Blue's Clues. I was like, there was literally only Sesame Street on.
Well, the show was just kids, and what they would do is they would have different segments. So they would have different segments where they would read out, you could send a note through the P.O. box, and kids would do different things, and they would send in whatever they created at home, and they would recreate it on the show. So they had a segment called Zoom Cafe, and it would be a kid or something that came up with a snack or dish at home, and they would send it to the show, and they would recreate it on the show. Huh. That's when I became a foodie, because I would try to do these dishes at home. It would be like desserts and these crazy things that kids made on the show.
How old were you then?
Maybe 11 or 12, maybe something. I was in middle school.
So you just start cooking for the family? You're like, Mom, I'm making dinner.
Oh, well, I mean, a lot of times we had to because, you know, it was like a lot of times where everybody was on their own. It was like, okay, you figure out what you're going to do, you're going to make. But
how many siblings do you have?
two. I have two sisters.
I have 3 younger sisters.
Yeah,
And we all had to take
I'm
turns
the oldest. Yeah.
making dinner. So, we each had a night where it was like,
yeah, it was
you
not
were
like that.
responsible for making dinner. It's
it's
a funny story. Mm-hmm. So, one of those things was, it was my turn to make dinner, and I decided to make pizzaghetti. You ever heard of pizzaghetti? Mm-mm. It's spaghetti, but made into a pizza. So you take like the mozzarella cheese and the noodles and you mix it together first on the pizza pan. So it like all binds together and holds it together. And you just top it with whatever pizza stuff. But I decided to use sausage, like, you know, just regular, like, just Bronson sausage or whatever. And I chopped it up real fine. And I wanted to make, you know, season it real good. And so I added seasonings. And one of those seasonings was a shit ton of cayenne pepper.
Oh, wow.
Which, I'm a kid. I don't know. So I make this whole thing. I make it up. We all sit down for dinner. And I also made these tiny little cocktails, like little juice cocktails. Mm-hmm. Which are like tiny. Like hardly anything to drink, right? And my mother does not like spicy food. So we sat down to eat this thing. And like my whole family after one bite was just like, oh my, what did you do? I was like, well, I just put some of the cayenne. And they're like, oh my God. And everyone's just mouth's on fire. My mom's just running for jugs of milk and just like everybody.
That's crazy.
Anyway, that didn't really get eaten that night. But that was part of like our childhood was trying to force to like kind of cook. And I don't think kids like have to cook that much anymore.
No, not really. It's
so
a different time.
It's good that like, you know.
I'm glad I grew up then, yeah, because I was, you know, like trying new things and you know, it was one thing I did, I would do like the Jiffy corn, you know, the cornbread. And I would take the Jiffy and make my batter. And this is me as a kid. And I would take cinnamon and then mix it in.
All right.
Bake it, come out. And then I would make like a cinnamon and butter. I would melt it in the microwave and then pour it over top.
Ooh.
And for some reason, I haven't tried it since like I was 11. But
it was. You should try that again.
That was it was good.
I bet you would really like that with a bowl of chili.
With a bowl.
Because it's that. But
congratulations.
Cornbread.
Cinnamon
roll.
It's kind of like a babka. It kind of reminded me a little bit like a babka, cinnamon babka cake or something like that.
Because so Kreskin's favorite thing is chili and cinnamon rolls.
Chili and cinnamon rolls. That's my favorite combination right now.
And people seem to think it's weird.
Cinnamon.
I don't know that it's that weird. I can see how it works.
It reminds me of something like a camp. Something you would have at camp or like for lunch and, you know, in school. You know, I'm a big kid, so that just screams. It's right up there with like that and chicken fingers and applesauce.
What would you eat with that when you were a kid with your little cornbread cinnamon creation? Because this might have been the beginning of your obsession.
You know what? I think we're unraveling things, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
because cornbread and chili go together. Basically, people do that all the time.
You know, it's interesting. If I had chili back then, I don't think because we had it was a lot of like whatever you could find. So I would do like oatmeal. Sometimes I would just do like oatmeal for dinner or something like that. And I would just add stuff to it.
SpaghettiOs. Mm-hmm.
I had a lot here and now we had SpaghettiOs, but
the meatball ones, those are the bomb.
I don't know what I ate with it. Like maybe spaghetti or something. I don't know, because we had a lot of noodles. It was just like fine with you. We had a lot of noodles and stuff, and I would just do stuff with noodles and stuff. I don't know.
No, but
that was one of the dessert
cinnamon
things.
Cornbread with cinnamon butter.
With the cinnamon butter, yeah, it was.
I'm gonna try that again. Go in your cookbook whenever that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that again because it was like really. That was one of the things I will always make, and it came out like perfect every time. But like but that's when Foodie. That's when I started. It was that show. Because they had some creations and it made me want to go down. I was like, okay, now I want to go downstairs and try to create my own dish. And it never got on the show. But I wanted to mail and send my thing in so it could get read on the show and everything like that. But yeah, that was when I became a foodie.
Cool. Yeah, I always watched like my grandfather's cooking shows that were on, which is like that old like Southern cook dude that was on like PBS. It was just like everything was like.
This was one lady. I can't remember her name. She was Jewish. And she was like tall and
on PBS.
Yeah, it was on PBS.
Yeah, I remember.
She had the voice. Yeah, I forget her name, but she had all of these great cooking. You know, like I'm like, man, the Great Depression and all these different. You know, really popular.
I remember he was like, woohoo! He was just out. He was like that old Southern dude. Like he
Yeah.
was old, and he was like, "You just out of that, and woo!" that's all I remember. That show is like laying on my grandfather's like living room floor while he like watched that show. And he's like, "You just add a little hot sauce and woo!"
Those are very interesting times.
There's a lot of ham and beans. Like it was really like old school, like 50s food.
Yeah, I love a good, especially now, good chili, and I gotta have rice. Anything with rice, or like if it's rice with
rice in the
gravy, or like just anything with rice. I have to have steamed rice there ready. I just have to, just in case I have something. I'm like, there's something missing from this.
Rice does go with everything. People think it only has to be with Chinese food, or like more like Uncle Ben has to make it, but it's not true.
It's just so many things that rice just makes it better. I don't know.
You got dessert rice. You got savory rice.
Nice jasmine rice.
Nice jasmine rice. And it grows everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but anywhere hot and swampy.
Excuse me, but yeah, it's definitely especially Filipino dishes, because I've just recently been
rice pudding,
gotten introduced to Filipino. So yeah, rice pudding, you got it.
Pudding. So, a nice banana rice pudding, if the man can find it.
It was another dish. What was it? My grandmother would make like a whole pot of Uncle Ben's rice, and she would do rice, butter, sugar. So she would make a whole pot of rice, and then it's like you go in there, you make your own bowl, and you take a bowl, and we kids, you add sugar, butter, and it was all this butter, and it would just melt and everything. It was like the best thing ever. But it kind of was like a fake rice pudding. It's kind of like a fake rice pudding or something like that. But for kids.
That sounds like what I used to do to my Wheaties. It was like, because Wheaties have no flavor and no sugar. So it's like honey, sugar, more sugar. You can almost, the Wheaties are now good, but it's just a bowl of sugar with some fiber.
And then now, like when it's funny how like when you get older, you're like looking at the back of the box. Okay, what is it? How much sugar is in here? I don't want. Like,
this has added sugar. I can't have that.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. Like, you're not too concerned with your kid.
It's actually happened to me most recently, where I've gotten like really concerned about it, because it's documentaries, man. You watch one documentary now, and they like get all science on you, and you're just like, damn. And I can't do that anymore.
Some of them have. What is it? Genetically bioengineered products is inside the ingredients are inside this, and I'm like, I gotta start really reading these. But I'm like,
you ever go to Whole Foods? You ever walk in Whole Foods?
Twice. I can count on my fingers.
It's like being in a foreign land. Like you don't recognize anything on any of the shelves. Like none of the chips are like the chips that you've ever eaten before.
Usually,
like nothing is, but it's all super good for you, and it's all $1 million. But like,
but
everything in there is good.
Good. Yeah,
like you're not going to pick up anything off the shelf that's like GMO'd or added sugars or anything. So you're kind of safe walking around. It's funny that Amazon owns it, right? Like, Amazon owns the healthiest grocery store in the country.
That's going to be like the next like. Yeah, what is it? The bioengineered. I don't know. For some reason, I'm like, watch somebody one day.
The Singaporean chicken.
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
So Singapore recently legalized, or whatever their FDA is, approved cell growth chicken. So basically, it's cloned chicken meat, right? So you take a portion of an actual chicken cell and they just grow the rest. And they're serving it in restaurants in Singapore right now, so it's their entire test market. But David Chang, his new show, he tried it. And he's like, yeah, fuck chicken, man. Like, it's exactly chicken. Except you didn't have to kill a chicken to have it. So that's coming real soon. And so once they get approved off the chicken, they're going to grow other things, too. So it is literally actual meat. It's not fake meat. It's not synthetic meat. It's not impossible. It's actual chicken meat. They never had a brain. It's like the scarecrow, but scarecrow chicken.
So you're eating scarecrow?
Scarecrow chicken, because
he
didn't have a brain.
How would scarecrow taste?
This joke is not going well.
Scarecrow chicken. Would you like some scarecrow chicken?
But that is the future. Like meat,
I mean,
the industry is
that's one of the
going
things
to
I think about.
change.
Like, and it may sound deep, but it's just like 30. You imagine 30, 50 years from now, 100 years from now. Like, what is everything gonna look like?
Shiny.
Shiny.
Hopefully shiny
Hopefully.
and not like, a desert.
That's
It's gonna be one or the other.
Completely different. Yeah, like what is it? That's
It's gonna be shiny.
Everything.
There's gonna be drone ships flying around everywhere.
drone ships.
Yeah, because buses won't exist. It'll all be air taxis.
Air taxis. And you'll have like
I guess buses will probably still exist.
Music will change. Movies, the internet.
Trap will be looked back on as just a fad.
It's just weird to think about, like, what is the because it went from, like analog and everything being manual to create like an instrumental to digital. You can do everything on a computer. So where do you take it 100 years? Like, where do you take it, next? Like, what is the sound going to...
We don't know.
People will be still playing instruments.
I think so. I think they'll still play instruments. I think it's a novelty that won't go away. Like that's artistic passion, right? And so human beings need to express themselves vis-a-vis the instrument, even if the computer is the instrument, right?
Yeah.
You're just playing the guitar vis-a-vis like pushing buttons. You're still playing the guitar, I guess. I don't know, but without calluses on your fingers.
Yeah,
I guess. I don't know.
It's interesting.
Where will we be?
There's gonna be like these new
might be on Mars.
That's hey.
Well, okay. If you okay, here's a fun question. All right, so you're getting ready to move to Mars. Mm-hmm. It's a long trip. What do you pack? What are you taking for lunches? Besides chili and cinnamon rolls.
Taking chicken fingers. I'm taking some spinach, bananas and pineapples. I have to have some protein. Of course, protein. I gotta have my rice, my starch.
You gotta have starch.
I have my protein, have some starch, have some veggies and fruit.
The Rideshare Foodie staples, ladies and gentlemen.
It's gonna be pretty interesting. But
I just can't wait to get back. Mars. What? Okay, so we're gonna end up with like Martian cuisine, right? At some point, there's gonna be like all this stuff that like has to be invented or prepared or like just out of necessity to create food, right?
Yeah, that's weird to think
on
about.
Another planet, out of stuff that's already there, and
then it's
oh my god, it's so
things. Then you got to think about, because oxygen, everything is gonna be a little different than Earth, because like certain foods and stuff like that can only last a certain amount of time. Whatever.
And they need
there. It may be less time that it can only. I don't know.
Well, possibly. Here's an idea. Because the plants are
I'm pretty sure they would create something that you
CO2.
package that you can seal it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we exhale CO2. So a lot of the bio housing, I guess, on Mars, one would think would be a lot of like inside gardens, right? So you have to make a lot of foliage inside that creates its own oxygen, which is filtering the air while the air filters are filtering things and recycling the oxygen. And I think the best way to do that is probably with actual plants, right? Like, did you watch that movie where the
foodies in the future, ladies and gentlemen? That's going to be interesting. Foodies of the future, like how
those plants
foodies look at the future? What is that going to look
like? Right, and so it grows their food, but it also recycles their oxygen.
That's crazy to think about. I can only imagine like that being vacation to Mars, and then you have somebody, a YouTuber that's on like doing videos on Mars
TikTok
like
Mars,
like that. But that's a reality that could happen. Like, I mean,
that's
pretty well. Going. Yeah, once they get everything, it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of like how long or when. That's gonna be normal. Like to take a flight. It's like, I got a ticket next week. Where you going? Me and the wife taking our honeymoon. We're going to
0G Mars. TikTok dances.
Exactly.
Right on the voyage.
Gravity. It's like, okay, yeah, they're really there.
Yeah, a whole plethora of new dance forms in 0G. Mm-hmm. Synchronized 0G dancing.
Yeah, dancing is going to be different. 100 years. That.
Don't know. I'll let you know when I get back. I'll look you up.
That's going to be It's gonna be a wow factor. Like, and then you're gonna have everything that, and that's what I say. Like, everything that you do is history. You know, like after this podcast, it's gonna be up forever. Somebody
could drop something 5 minutes after we're done. It's just the most miraculous, world-changing thing.
Mm-hmm. You just never know. That's why I say, like, be careful what you put up on the internet and what you put out there, and make sure it's positive, because it's gonna be out there forever.
Forever and ever and ever and ever.
Hey,
you
who
think
knows?
you can delete your tweets?
You're out of your mind. You
that
could
shit
50
saved somewhere.
It could be 50 years from now. Somebody's gonna come back and look back and was like, "Yeah, this is the show that this guy, Reyshan Parker, Beyond the you imagine that, like, some kid just stumbling, like, yeah, this is, like this. You
like
never seen it, like
years from now.
Yeah, like I don't know. That stuff just like I think about that stuff. Like
I think about
it's interesting.
That. But do we do that? I mean, so like I went to film school, so like I was forced to like learn film history and like watch all the old black and white movies and like the silent shit all the way back to Eisenstein and like slicing the eyeball and shit, right? But I don't know that I ever would have like watched Eisenstein or like looked up Eisenstein today, or like how many kids out there like really give a shit about anything from the past.
Yeah.
You're like, do they care? Maybe when they get older and becomes novelty, or your parents liked it. But I don't know that they're. I'm like, hey kid, what do you think of this Fleetwood Mac?
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck is Fleetwood Mac?
Will certain things that still hold up today? Will it hold up 100 years from now? Like 100 years from now, like think of Home Alone. Home Alone in 100 years from now, Christmas.
Yeah. And I think we'll still be watching A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't think A Christmas Story.
What's the Christmas movie going to look like in 2121? Like, what is a Christmas movie going to look like?
Like, do you remember a time before Elf? You know what I mean? Like, I remember a time before Elf was like a thing, and now every year, gotta watch Elf. Gotta watch Christmas Carol. Gotta watch Christmas Story. The Grinch.
Mm-hmm. Will there be
Charlie Brown?
There's not going to be any. Will there be cashiers anymore? Where everything will be automated. Self checkout, and
I don't want to go to a restaurant where I don't get waited on.
Yeah, interaction with anybody.
By a person.
Yeah, that's
why I might as well go to McDonald's.
I think that's gonna be. I hate to say it, but I think that's gonna be one of the things that, like, man, back in my day, it's gonna be somebody that's
actually had people.
Yeah, like I missed back. Don't you miss back then when you actually had a waiter or waitress that came up to you? They just had the nastiest attitude. That might be a comedian talking about. They had the nastiest. I just miss those days. Now,
when the bartender was mean to you and told you to fuck off.
Oh, I miss those days. Now it's just you have a robot and just come. I don't know.
Remember when your server would get your order wrong?
You get your order wrong and everything.
Your steak actually didn't come out perfect every time.
Took 25 minutes to get your beer. You remember those days?
Like, that sounds terrible. How did you guys survive that?
Yeah, that's going to be a thing. It's like, man, that was really a thing of the...
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you talk to a kid today about just not having a phone.
Exactly.
Just not being able to get in touch with somebody instantly. Period.
Or to have free minutes.
Having to pay 5 cents for a text.
Exactly.
5 cents. A text message cost a nickel when it first came out.
That's when you would have a lot more people that would be doing less texting. It's like, yeah, man, call me because I'm not paying. It's like, I remember that when they had that, and then when they had like it was free after a certain time, and then it was like mobile to mobile. You had to have a certain mobile. What kind of phone you have? Well, I can't talk to you. You gotta have a Samsung. I remember, that makes me feel old. I'm only 33, but that
wasn't that long ago.
Exactly.
That was 15 years ago.
Online payments. I remember when that first became a thing.
Oh yeah, people were
online
afraid.
Applications. You could file out. When I first heard that, I was like, "What? Yeah, Home Depot. Like you can sit down here at our kiosk, or you can go home and do it online."
Oh yeah, the kiosk application.
Yes, that's where it was the first thing, and then they was like, "You can go home and do it online." I'm like, "What?" Mm-hmm. Now there's no paper applications. You used to go to the mall and get a paper application, fill it out. They don't have paper applications.
Dial-up internet, so you could play like games, like very rudimentary, like poker with your friends, or like Tetris.
It's just now it's like Candy Crush.
Which is all basically Tetris, right?
Basically, just taking it and putting it in a different format.
Angry Birds. What happened to that? Is that still a thing? They made a movie. I never watched it.
I think it's still a thing.
All right.
They should do. Hey, you could do a Rideshare.
People are still trying to find.
You could do a Rideshare Foodie video game.
Huh?
to get all the food, drink over.
Collect all the chili.
That would be a cool game.
That's not a terrible game. I have a fun game that I think needs to be invented, which is just like basically the game of life. Mm-hmm. But everything's important in it, right? The decisions that you make, the food that you eat, right? And so if you're basically like The Sims, but if The Sims added like health to it.
Yeah.
So if you eat McDonald's and then you're just eating trash all the time, your character gets fat, and fucking like has to go to the doctor and like
you actually got to go to the gym. Mm-hmm.
But also like but you still have a mission to accomplish in the game, right? But you have to be aware of where you're at. Like you walk past McDonald's, do you get food there, or do you walk over to wait for the farmer's market? No, I don't know.
Farmer's market, you actually interact. You can interact with different people at the farmer's market. This is good. What do you have? Or how do you? I don't know. You could ask questions or something.
Yeah. And
you have to figure out which one has the. I don't know.
But the point is that you have to stay alive, and by doing so, you have to eat, and so you actually have options and how you go about it, and probably implement more things into the game like that. Like, just the game of life, but for kids, so they learn that look, your choices matter. And you don't have, maybe if you learn this now, you won't have to wait till you're 30 and like finding out that, I probably shouldn't be drinking Mountain Dew for breakfast every day.
What would be cool? That would be cool, as well as like you could earn a certain amount of after you earn a certain amount of money or something like that. You can grow your own fruits and stuff like that. You could like set up and start selling as a farmer or something, or at the farmer's market. I don't know.
Or you can have any job in the world.
Exactly.
But again, like it's the game of life. So now that you have all this money, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to give it to charity? Are you going to help out other people? Mm-hmm. What character are you in the world? And by playing this game, maybe it would reflect on yourself.
Yeah.
To be like, I really don't want to be that person. Because like in the people in those role playing games, some of them are fucked up. There's bank robbers. There's like all kinds of people do fucked up shit in a fake world.
Exactly.
Right? So what are those people like in real life?
Exactly.
Like, are their morals the same in the game world as in real life? Or is it just the character? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know.
That would be very interesting.
I'm curious now.
Yeah, it's just so much. So much we all want to know. Like, the humanity is very interesting. Civilization. Moving civilization forward, where we are, where we going. I don't know. I just find that just very interesting. How do we better? So it's more like just foods. And people think it's just about food. I'm like, I love like being able to observe and see like everyone's personality, everyone's dislikes, likes, dislikes, opinions, and perspectives is very interesting.
Across the country, in different parts of the country, totally different types of people doing.
I can only imagine doing international. I can only imagine, but. Yes, it's such a big world out there. Touche,
sir. Well, you've covered a small portion so far.
Yeah, small, very small.
Which by comparison is also a very large portion.
Because I can only imagine like and I already have a few a few followers from like Ireland and different places. Like, man, like can't wait for you to get here. Because they've never been to America, so it's like we want to ask you about America, and then when we come to America, we know where to go. Mm-hmm. Same thing when I get there, like to be able to, okay, where do y'all go here, and what do you call? Because they call like, we have our food trucks and trailers and different things like that, farmers markets and everything, and they have places there, but they call it something different. So to find out, like, okay, what do y'all call y'all's? Mm-hmm. And when did it start, and why do you call it that? To have those, that dialogue, it's going to be awesome.
It's education.
Mm-hmm. As long as there's no cheese involved, which is good. We could go. It's going to be cool because, like America is where
you're not allergic.
Put cheese and everything.
You're not lactose intolerant. You just don't.
If I eat a lot of it, like I'll get really nauseous.
Oh, really?
If I eat a lot of it. But I don't, even like I'm allergic to peanuts and I'm allergic to eggs, but I don't like those things. And when I say like eggs, it's not like
scrambled eggs, not like
like breakfast omelets, or if somebody try to put an egg on a sandwich or a burger. I can't do it. I'll catch hives. But like scratching right now, like baked goods or like. Cake and shit, cakes totally and stuff, or meatloaf, things you have to bind and everything, no.
So like the cooking of it.
Yes, yeah, but that's very odd because I can do like egg foo young. Nothing happens.
Egg drop soup.
And I've never had egg drop soup,
No,
but I'm
maybe
pretty
don't
sure I
try
can. Okay. I'm pretty sure, but I'm pretty sure it probably wouldn't do anything. And then was it with a fried rice? We had the egg in it and you fry everything together.
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything.
Huh.
It's very odd. But if I do like regular like scrambled eggs or like if it's like an omelet with something and I eat it, I'll break out.
Huh. Man, stay away from peanuts like kill you. No, it's not that bad.
It's not fatal. I just break out in halves.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I'll just like itch. Like
that's good because I was kind of concerned. It's like driving across the country, eating all these random places, like all the time.
Even like because like something like you'll read, or even go like to bakeries and stuff like that, and some of the things it'll let you know these were made or around
peanuts
or soy or whatever but it doesn't do anything. So it's very weird.
Just a light allergy. Just a little just a little dab.
I can sense it too. It's like my superpower. So I had this lady in my Uber, and she was eating peanut butter crackers, and I knew it. I didn't even have to turn around. She was eating. I can, like I just started itching. I'm feeling it like a spider sense. And I'm like, I'm like, you have peanut butter. I was like, you have peanut butter, don't you? She's like, she had a mouthful. Peanut butter crackers. She's like, how did you know? I was like, because I'm allergic to peanuts, so I could tell. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. Oh, no, you go ahead and go ahead and eat your peanut butter crackers. But I was just like, I could tell that you had them, but it won't kill me.
But it won't kill you.
But I don't even like it. That stuff I don't even like. I would be upset because I've met people like this that's allergic to something. He'd be like, man, but I love it.
Oh yeah.
That would be like me being allergic to barbecue.
It's usually ice cream. It's like lactose intolerant people like, oh damn it, I want ice cream.
Yeah. And that's weird because I had a point in time where ice cream would get me nauseous. Like cheese or whatever. Like I would, if I started eating ice cream, I'm like, and I would never really crave it. But then I started doing like the non-dairy ice cream. And then after that, then I would go, like after that, I've been to some places where people do, like the creamery or they do ice cream inside their shop. And I would eat it. I'm like, nothing's happening.
Maybe it's because it's stuff natural. Like it was like
maybe
kind of like straight from farm ice cream.
But even then, like I would have some from said
the store
straight from farm or something like that, and I would get nauseous. But it was like I had a time period where I would just do non-dairy. But then I would go to a couple of places that do.
Have you tried the goat milk ones?
No, I haven't.
I got some in the freezer. Yeah, it's strawberry goat milk ice cream.
I'm really on an oat milk. I like oat milk.
I saw those too when I was going to get one of those.
Like, they didn't have this stuff when I was a kid.
I couldn't find chocolate.
Chocolate?
Yeah, chocolate oat milk seems like it would be a go-to, but they all had like coffee in them.
I just like the regular. Like I've tried the almond milk and I just didn't like the taste.
I don't like this consistency. It says I don't know. It's more frozen yogurty, but like the old original frozen yogurt that just wasn't good. Like back when they first came out with frozen yogurt, it was just bad.
Oh man.
That's what the almond milk ice cream reminds me of.
But I'm just like, I could deal with the allergies. It's just I would be upset. I would be really upset if it was like something I didn't really enjoy, like I said, barbecue or
I was allergic to actual
burgers or pizza. Yeah, like these things, spaghetti or like the sauce or something to put on it. I would be upset.
Garlic,
basil or I've met somebody. I
would be okay if I was allergic to olives. I'd be okay with that. Yeah, they're disgusting. It's one of the few. I don't like olives. I don't like straight raw tomatoes. Like eating like a cherry tomato.
I feel like I should be allergic to like, even though I like mushrooms. I feel like that's to be like something that randomly I would be allergic to. Like it's like, yeah, by the way, mushrooms. I can't have them. I'm allergic.
Don't know why.
Allergy. I can't have them.
Do you like mushrooms?
But I like them. But I feel like it's just like the odd, like an odd thing that, because usually like hearing if I get like a Philly steak or something or whatever, it's like, would you like onions with that? Like that's here and there is like a, would you like, not onions, mushroom. Would you like mushrooms? Would you like sauteed mushroom?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's available here. Okay. It just seems like that would be like the weirdest, like the random, like, I can't have it. I'm allergic to
allergic to mushrooms.
Actually, funny thing, I'm actually allergic to mushrooms. But I'm not.
You're the first person I ever met who was allergic to eggs.
Yeah.
Never seen
Guy
that.
Fieri. I don't think he's allergic. He don't like eggs.
Ah. No, I didn't know. I don't even get poison ivy.
That's just
so
that's,
like I literally
that's what I've been told. But Guy Fieri doesn't like eggs.
Guy Fieri doesn't like eggs, man. Silly man. I like an omelet. I like an omelet every once in a while.
But it must be nice to be sweet.
But eggs are too. Okay, so apparently eggs, eating one egg is the equivalent of bad for you as smoking an entire pack of cigarettes. Have you heard that?
No.
That's so. Again, a documentary. That literally just broke down like the health and what's the cellular level of what food does to you, and the cellular level of meat and what it actually does to your body inside your cells, and how it activates within your stomach and the bacteria and all that shit. Eating an egg causes more cholesterol, more blockages, more just like for your body to go into this active state where it's eating itself, kind of, because it causes inflammation. Right?
Yeah.
So to keep inflammation out, plant protein doesn't inflame your body.
Yeah.
All meat protein causes your body to go into an inflammatory reaction.
Yeah.
And so eggs are one of those things that you just, people just down the raw egg, right? Like as like the workout people. Yeah, that's like the worst thing you can possibly do to like inflame your system is eggs. So they said that, eating one egg was the equivalent of smoking a pack of cigarettes.
Interesting.
So it's okay if you don't like eggs.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
But that's what I heard. I heard about eating a bagel is the equivalent of like 5 slices of bread or something like that.
It's dense.
No.
People say that Guinness is like drinking like bread in a fucking glass, right? But the truth is, the Guinness is the lowest carb beer. Like it's like almost as low as like McUltra. Like there's hardly anything in Guinness. What Guinness seems like a bread is because CO2 or the hydrogen makes it seem like it's all. But really, it's like a super low calorie beer.
Interesting.
Mind blown. Blue Moon doesn't need an orange.
They actually have a. You've heard of the documentary on Hulu? It's called "The Food That Built America."
Oh, I love that show.
And they talk about the life before the FDA and everything. You imagine going to a grocery store and just seeing a bottle. That's it. You can't see what's in it. And you have to hope that it's not spoiled or hope you don't get sick from it.
That was like Heinz. So Heinz made the glass bottle or the clear glass bottle.
The first one they made that clear bottle. You can actually see.
This is not rancid, disgusting shit.
Yeah, you don't imagine living in that time. Like just.
What'd you do? He bought all the clear glass bottles.
Yeah.
So that nobody else could have them.
And then he was on. Very interesting.
Ruthless. The bottle wars.
Yeah, and then the bird's eye with the freezers and fridges that we have in the supermarkets. I'm like, what? It's like they're the reasons why we have. Because at the time they didn't have those.
Nope.
And then having a refrigerator in your home meant that you were rich, or not rich, but you.
You had ice blocks still. You were still having a block of ice delivered to keep your stuff cold.
Yeah, that's a different time. Like these things that we take for granted now. Like now we just go, you just open and close. You just open and close. It's like it's been here forever, but it's interesting to know. Like,
chocolate wasn't mass producible until Hershey's.
And Hershey had a whole town. Bought a whole.
Still has the town.
Have a whole town.
Still has the town. You can go there, Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
It's like the real Willy Wonka.
I would love to have a foodie town. Whole area just food and
Foodie Town, USA.
Foodie Town, USA. Why not?
Why not? You just have one of every type of food.
Chile, of course.
Like the best Chinese restaurant, the best American restaurant, the best Korean restaurant,
Chilean cinnamon rolls, the best. Cinnamon rolls. Yes.
And you just have different professional chefs roll through. Just do a month at a time, so it's always different. And then just change the menu, but it's still always one of the best.
Now, I was telling somebody this. I was just like, like in the westerns, they had the what do you call the
spaghetti westerns?
No, just westerns in general, where they have the you pull the horses up and you wrap your what do you call those? Forgot the word for it, but You know what I
horse
mean.
tie?
Tie.
No. The stable? No.
That's why I was thinking stable at first, but it's
No.
called something. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know, if someone had
Park your horse here.
Yeah, park it. It would be cool to have something like that, but for food trucks. So when food, somebody wants to take like a food tour or something like that, it would come in a visit. You have a hookup and everything ready for them to go, kind of like that. Where you could park food trucks on each side and people could try different states or something like that.
So there's the place. Maybe after this, if you want to, we could go check some places out. But the pizza place in Starland District, Starland Yard, they basically do that. So there's like two hookups. They can have two food trucks in there at a time, and they rotate the food trucks throughout the week. So there's a different food truck every day.
It's gonna be something like that. Yeah.
And they also serve pizza, but they also have a food truck. So they're not trying to just sell their food. There's just this whole little community.
Yeah, that would be. I was like, that would be kind of cool. Like just to become like you don't know. Like this week we're having all the way from Alaska. It's just. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, man, you came all the way back. Yep. This is, straight
from... Do people do that? Traveling food trucks? I know people...
Yeah,
I know around the state, I know a few that, like, travel all the way up through Atlanta and, like, come all the way back down. But, like, straight cross country?
Well, and then especially now, I have two that actually... I have one from South Dakota that wants to do, like, a 10-city tour. And since I've been... Now, it's looking like... Because I'm the middleman, like, hey, what town would this be a hit, for me to... Because I want to do, like, a food tour. We want to travel, too, so...
And we don't want to waste your time going somewhere where it's not going to work out.
Yeah, so... I'm like, yeah, I can give you cities. And then, because I made so many connections, it's people that, like, have space or whatever. And they're like, hey... You come out here, hey, Colorado Springs, you come down here,
Like, we got a kitchen for you.
Yeah.
We got a place for you to park.
That way people can get to experience. They can get, at the same time, get their food out there,
Yeah,
to different places. Especially if it's somewhere like, because I went to, there's a new food truck in Memphis, and they were like telling me that was kind of slow. And I'm not saying it's not a foodie, it's not, I won't say it's not a foodie town, but it's not as big like when you go to Wichita. It's like 82,000 people in Wichita. The group is called Wichita Food and Booze. That's all food and booze. Wichita Food and Booze. That's like, and they're looking for like, what's the next thing? What's the new? They're ready to come out and support. It's going to be different than like a Memphis, where it's really active there. So like I can tell them like, yep, I know this will be da da da. And when you get down there, you're gonna be busy.
This is a town that gives a shit about stuff.
A lot more.
Particularly food, trust me.
Yeah, particularly food. And it's a great way because it's a lot of people like, man, we would love to be able to travel. And then you can travel and you getting your brand out there at the same time. So I'm like, it's cool. There's a lot more people trying to do that now.
Yeah, it just takes probably just a good bit of planning before you leave.
Yeah.
You plan it out and get all the way across the country.
And that's what I enjoy about doing this because... especially when I know, like if I know these people or if I know you, I can let you know. It's like, because that's like half the battle is like, okay, we need to know where to go and who do we contact? Does anybody have a brewery? Like, I know these people. So that's great for them because like, yeah, here's a person here, da da da. I have you all set up and you just plan whenever you want to come out there.
You are the Google of food.
I really enjoy connecting people with other people. I think it's something I'm good with. So it's really fun, especially when you hear people like, man, we always wanted to travel, or like, yeah, we here and we try to get out when we can. That's a great way to do what you love to do, and at the same time getting out and being able to go somewhere different.
And without you being able to give out that information, like the pain in the butt, because you've never been to a place, you have no idea like what parts of town to go to. Where to maneuver, what city within the state to go to, exactly. Right? That would be best. Like, it's almost a total crapshoot.
Yeah.
If you've never been.
Exactly. And then you have somebody that, like, it's like, yeah, you got this. And then you connected with somebody who's there and that's in the same industry. Like, hey, come out here. I know this person,
Yeah. It's fucking
makes
badass.
it a lot easier, yeah.
Bravo, sir. Yeah. So when are they doing that? And what's the food truck?
Next year. Well, I know the first truck, the Native American truck that's in South Dakota, they're going... I think it's June. They want us to do next summer. And he said 10, but it was like, well, if we got more.
We'll keep driving.
It was just like, I just created a group and I was just like, I'm going to just add everybody that said they can help out and just add you to the group. And yeah, like Jefferson City, Missouri, Des Moines, Iowa. You know, like just these. I'm like,
blew
dude,
up.
you might as well just.
I was in that thread. I saw.
Seattle, Washington. Yeah, you know. It's like there's usually it was the truck pork chop. She just started. She had this smoked chicken egg rolls. It's just like trucks. I'm like, yo, you would do really well, like
in this.
But town. I want to get you, you know, like we'll take you there. And she's like, oh, I always wanted to go to Seattle. I've never been to the Northwest. I've never been to the Northeast, and that's a great way to be able to see what you haven't gotten to see, and then
really, they will just be able to use your app now.
Exactly.
To do that, like everyone else will be able to use the app. By the way, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays,
yes,
Happy
Merry Christmas. It's lovely.
It's Christmaka. What else? What do we got?
Hanukkah,
Kwanzaa. What's the Seinfeld holiday?
Oh, I don't know.
It's not Christmaka. That was the OC.
Yeah. I don't know. But you know, a happy holiday.
Festivus.
There you go.
For the rest of us.
Yes.
That's what it is.
It's awesome. And you know, I forgot, because, you know, you don't roll for so long and you come back and the year rolls back around and then people's like, yeah, so what are you doing for Thanksgiving? And I'm like, Thanksgiving. And I'm looking at the calendar. I'm like, that's right, Thanksgiving is coming. Because I'm like, you know, the roll, you know, you come back and you're like, wow, like the holidays are rolling right back around. Like, wow, what am I going to do for Thanksgiving? Or what am I going to do for, you know, so it's a really interesting gig. No, but I enjoy it. I really enjoy it.
What are you doing for Christmas? What are you doing for
Christmas? Well, Thanksgiving, I know I'm just gonna relax. I'm gonna be home. I'm gonna relax. I might just find like maybe a meetup, because I do. The other thing is I do find meetups, the app, and I like those because you'll have somebody that does like game night or whatever, and it's a great way to go like somewhere you by yourself and you can get a mango. Yeah. And there's a lot of people say, hey, have you tried, you're a traveler, you on the road or whatever, we would love to meet you. And there's a group of people and they'll
kind of like
together.
Couch servers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So
except
I might do something.
Except you're not sleeping on the couch.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so I might do one of those, you know, look up a couple of those, maybe do something, but I'm going to be relaxing at home. Have me some nice fried turkey. And Christmas, I don't know yet. I was thinking about maybe going somewhere, but I was like, man, I might just stay here. I might do the same thing and just do like find a potluck or something, meet up. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a few different events, and I'll just.
That's fun because you're in Austin or
San Antonio. Well, San Antonio, northeast of San Antonio.
Pflugerville. Am I saying it right? I'm not.
I'm in Live Oak, Pflugerville. That's 20 minutes north of Austin. So where I'm at would be like an hour and 20 minutes. So you would have. North would be Pflugerville. Then you have, you got Round Rock, Pflugerville, Austin, and then you'll be headed down to where I am.
Gotcha. Touche. We're gonna figure that out.
But yeah, but I mean, I think that's what I'll, you know, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be like a lot of different. But that's how you met,
like you've met a lot of people just like when you moved there.
Yeah.
Just like meet up and go hang out with people.
Yeah.
Cool.
You know, and it's, you know, people ask like, you know, like if it's a secret or something, it's like, how do you do this? And it's just, I'm just very social, and I, you know, some people, you know, like you'll get like, man, you just talk to random people, or like I couldn't, you know. And it's just
my mouth, it just comes out. I don't know.
Yeah, you know, and just taking it and, you know, doing something with it. Like that's just, you know, something that, you know, like everybody is not like that, so, or it doesn't have that, you know. So you just got to use what you have and see what happens. Make the best out of it,
and just do it.
There you go, and just do it. But I will tell you this: I am super excited about like this new, like, especially people that I know. That have food trucks that are like, man, I want to take
it on the road.
Or take it on the road. I want to,
and you are like, the key.
Yeah, like, you know, to be able to do that, because one of the things I told my developer on my app was, I was like, I want you to put on a tracking device. And he's like, really? I was like, yeah, because imagine like, you know, with Uber and everything, they have, when you order a ride, you can see where the car is going, right? I was like, why can't you do that for food trucks or anybody mobile? So all they would have to do is turn on the tracker, and anywhere that they go, all somebody would have to do is look at the map on the app.
Couldn't you just turn on your like make your location visible to
Yeah,
everyone
basically,
on
yeah,
your
basically
phone?
had a location or whatever. But like, you know, on the app to have the
You're
so you can see
geo tracking the truck.
exactly.
Yeah,
Or anybody
that should be
mobile.
super simple nowadays.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, just you
And then
know, that's
attaching it
great
to
for
the
like
app.
someone who caters or do events or whatever. Just anybody mobile that helps with like not having a. I mean, you can still do it, but like you know, everybody has to post up the address on Facebook, Instagram. I was like, why not have something where it's just like tracks wherever you, just in case something cancels or whatever.
And when they turn it on, they bleep on, and they're an active.
You can see
they're
exactly.
an active.
It's kind of like the
surge.
surge. It's kind of like the surge with Uber. Like you can see where all of the food trucks. This is the park over here. That's where everybody you can see this and know exactly where to go, and then be able to communicate.
Happen.
Yeah, that's and then be able to communicate. You know, back and forth, so you can find out. Okay, hey, does any if somebody can give you an update of. They're out of all they have left is chicken or all they have left is rib tips. They're out of the beef ribs. So you know before you get there, you know, or the top 5 favorites that they have on their truck is this. So you can like, oh, okay, now I know
what like a whole little comment section just happening in real time.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that going to be on your app or
that's going to be my app? Yes,
because
that's what I would like to have. A lot of it is just like things that I would like to be able to do. You know, like if I go somewhere, I'm like, okay, I want to be able to. You know, I want to go to separate pages to find. I would like to have just something where it shows me, okay,
like if I have a food truck,
this is this food truck, yeah.
This is the toolbox that I would like to have.
Exactly.
Cool. All right, so what's the app called? Where can they find it?
The app is Rideshare Foodies. It should be. I want to have it be for Christmas, but I will have a demo on my website, ridesharefoodie.com. And a demo will basically show you how it will work, what it'll look like. It's gonna really look really cool. Plus, you'll be able to let's say if you wanted to take a flight somewhere, you could get on and change the locations and say like Tokyo, Japan, and the map will take you to Tokyo, Japan, and then you could talk to people in Tokyo, Japan, and ask where to go, even though you're not there yet.
Badass.
Yeah. These are things that this is things that I want. Like I was like, I'm pretty sure there's other people that would think this would be cool to have. Like I want to be able to like, okay, before I go to Chicago, hey, where should I go to? You know, whatever. It's basically taking those different Facebook groups and then combining them in one.
And and always having locals involved because you can't always just join like the Wichita Facebook group, right? Mm-hmm. Because I don't live in Wichita, and sometimes they won't.
No, you can. Well, it's easy.
One.
Oh, you definitely can, but it's just a lot of people don't know about them.
Or you want like travel or don't think that you can. Then
you're
you're a member of like all these groups. Yeah, they're just filling your feed, right? And it can be overwhelming. You do that, right? So you probably have hundreds of different groups, right?
Yes, lots of them.
Just flooding your feed all the
time. And and it's just like, why not just create something based, you know, just off of local, like you know what people ask for, like we want a hole in the walls, we want, you know.
Dude, I'll totally use your app for my show in the future.
Yeah. It's something that just create something that has no limitations, and you know, this is something I would love to get in like hotels. Which good thing is I know people that work at hotels, so to get this like at the front desk or something like maybe a QR code or like you know something to tap or something, you know, it's like man, like okay, where do we go? Because when you go to the front desk, what do you ask for? Where do the locals go? We want to know where to eat. Yep. Oh, funny you ask. We have this app now. If you know what I mean, like,
scan barcode, download the app.
You know,
boom.
So you know, I'm just trying to create a way to share what I've gotten to experience with people. Say like, oh, so this is what it's like being able to go and you know have this information and being able to connect with people. I think this will be awesome,
dude. doing so many awesome things, man.
Really, especially with the food truck thing, because that's a lot of what I was like, man, like how can I make it accessible for people to be able to just find it?
I wanted to
easily.
make a food truck show, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm trying to figure out where the food trucks are. And like it's almost impossible. You have to go to an individual like venue or just like they'll be like, we'll update you on our Instagram whenever it is that we're somewhere. So like
you know the funny thing,
like how do you plan to let you know?
You know the funny thing about that is because I like when I first started, like when I had an idea, it was like I want to say maybe I was a year in and doing Uber, but when I had an idea for the app, I was like. I was going to different trucks, like just driving. I would find different trucks and go to them separately. Then I found out that like in every city, there's like one person that's in charge of sending like information to every one of the food trucks in that city. It's like one person.
Like a food truck dispatcher somewhere?
Yeah. It's like a person that's in charge.
Works for the city?
that they work for the it's like I want to say organization, but like all of the food, like when you get in it, if you're a new food truck, or if you just move to the city, you got a food truck, you go to this person,
some kind of like branch of that,
something like that. But it's usually it's like a person that has it's like the main honcho food truck or whatever. And I don't know, like it's a main food truck.
First food truck that was in town.
Somebody that's in charge.
The roost.
And I don't know what it's just usually that one person that's just like you need to speak to Steve because he's the one that sends.
Steve knows.
The events, different events, so like especially like Food Truck Frenzy in Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada, or like these different events. That's the person that sends all the emails or notifications, whatever, to all of the food trucks.
Huh? So there is a guy.
It's one
somewhere
guy or girl. Yeah, just different. It's usually
is.
one person, one maybe two people. That's like that person. That it's like okay, it's just one person.
But you know what? When your app's out, we're not going to need you anymore, Steve.
No, but what I would do, I probably would, knowing that information, contact the person and let them know that, this is this. Instead of going to each, like, hey, there's this app or whatever, that would be the one person. And they would just send the information to every one of the other food trucks. It's like, hey, I tried it out. Check out the app or whatever. But I didn't know that. I'm thinking you had to go to each.
Yeah, like me too.
It's just one. It's like usually one person, or like you will find, like, is this dude, Nick, my man Nick Holmes in Phoenix, Arizona. He's a promoter for a lot of food trucks in Phoenix, in Arizona, and in part of LA, and in Nevada. So somebody was like, I joined this group, and he was like, you need to talk to Nick. He knows all of those. He was the guy.
He's the guy.
He's the guy. So I'm like, really? I'm like, that's when I was like, so it's usually like one person or like somebody that promotes them. That's the person you talk to, and they send all the.
But you can now just call Steve and be like, hook me up with all the food. Or
Nick. Shout out to Nick Holmes.
So you're like, yo guys, you should download this app and turn on your tracker and you'll
but that's what I'm saying. Like, and it's like every time I find out something new, I learn something new. I'm like, because that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm thinking all of this time, like even before now, like just going to as a customer, I'm like, man, like it's a lot of food trucks out here. How do they, what I mean? I'm just thinking about everybody has their own separate thing. How do you
organize this?
And then later on, you find out like it's like it's usually like one person. That's when you go to any city or whatever. It's like one person or maybe a small group, but it's just like that's the person you go to, and they have all of the food trucks information and stuff, and they send everything out. Yeah.
Huh. So how do you find that one person though?
I mean, you talk to me, but no, no. Usually,
touche, sir. Hold your cards. Keep your cards.
Usually, I just go. I mean, because Facebook will have like food truck groups, so they'll have like food trucks in Chicago.
And it's usually like
and then if you go, and usually the admin of the group is the person. You see.
Okay.
I just thought about it when you said it. Like, usually admin is the person that they start the group because they
that makes sense. That place.
You see how it works? You find this, I'm like, wow, okay.
All right, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to be detectives anymore because we just stumbled our way through it.
We are solving crimes and detective work, man. All we missing is coffee and donuts.
I got coffee. Sugar's a little donut.
Yeah, but that's the, so I like finding that stuff. I'm like, wow, I didn't know. Okay, so that's, okay.
Fucking badass.
But since you said, as soon as you said that, I was just like, it's like, yeah, so that would be, I was like, yeah, that would be the, like, usually it is the person that's in charge that starts the group. Which makes it a little easier because you just, I don't even have to drive anywhere. I just go to the group.
Message that guy.
You're the guy.
Man,
they'll have that, and they have like a food truck equipment group, or, they'll have these different, and I'm like, wow, like, so essentially, I'm like, this is basically, when I first found out about it, somebody told me about it. It's like, you should join our group. It was in Mississippi Foodies, and I'm like, group? I'm like, it's a foodie group? And I'm looking at it, and this was back years ago. And I was just like, this is basically what I want my app to be, it's just these different food trucks or,
into one.
Like church events, bake sales, whatever, anything local. Just one world platform, whatever you want to call it. Network.
City, all the networks there.
Somebody told me, I was talking to this young lady in I forget which city it was, but it was like, so you essentially want to create like not a social media, but a local media. I was like, interesting term. The local media.
I think that's true.
Yeah. Something different, I think that would be awesome. The future of local business. Local business is future.
We've touched on the past today. We've touched on the future.
Isn't that interesting?
We have, yeah. But now, the society at large, and
now I'm anxious to look up the food truck groups. I'm gonna have to make a list.
Is Nick in charge of this one? Yep,
Yes.
that's Nick.
Is this Joe? Tina's in charge of this one.
There is a Tina. There he is.
Jackie, you gotta, because that's what usually like. Yeah, you want to, if you come in here, you gotta talk to Jackie. She's the one that runs everything. I'm like, okay, all right. That's how, and it's usually like, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's just very welcoming. It's like, it's not as...
Yeah, food people generally are very welcoming. Anybody who's in, you share common ground with, you usually get along with, and they're usually excited to hang out and talk about.
Most definitely. Shout out to Christine with Taco Addiction in Napa Valley.
What's up, Christine?
Awesome. Super awesome people. Which is, in Napa Valley, they have a lot of people. They tell me that there's a lot of people that come to visit, but they don't come check out like the food trucks or like the small mom and pop shops, because wineries, and they just go like to the high class restaurants and whatever. But there's a huge food truck scene in Napa Valley. Well, I should say delicious,
like Sonoma, like all around Sonoma.
I can't wait to go back.
Did you make it into Humble at all?
I didn't.
Yeah, I was actually born in Sonoma County.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Monte Rio, in a cabin in the Redwoods.
Yeah, I can't wait to go. I'm just excited because I know exactly. Okay, when I go to California, now I know exactly where to go, where to fly in, where to go. Yeah,
the north.
before back home. I mean, on the East Coast, it's like we say, "Oh, let's go to take a trip to Cali." It's L.A.
Yeah, San Francisco,
No. L.A. That's usually maybe like Las Vegas. If somebody's going to party, it would be Las Vegas.
Northern California is so much better.
But it would be rare for somebody to say San Francisco or like San Diego or just anything else. Usually it's just
you'd love San Francisco is actually a really cool town. Skateboarders are crazy. I've said this many times before in this podcast.
Very artsy town.
Very artsy town.
Very artsy.
A lot of grilled cheese. Sorry.
I wouldn't. No, but I would definitely fly into San Francisco. Like I would have to fly it because that traffic. I would have to fly in. It would be nice to fly in and just walk. It would be nice to not have to drive.
We usually flew into like St. Louis Obispo because there's like nobody in St. Louis. I mean, comparatively speaking, it's California. There's tons of people everywhere. But comparatively, St. Louis Obispo is like a very small town in California. Yeah. And then just drive up like Highway 1, San Francisco.
Yeah. San Francisco.
Up to the Redwoods. Keep going.
Sacramento was pretty cool too.
Sacramento.
Yeah, I like Sacramento. Stockton was odd. It was nice, then odd. Yeah. It was because I was in a Stockton group and people was like, you better prepare yourself. And it was like, you better, it's like, they said it was like the worst city in California or the most dangerous city in California.
Stockton?
Yeah.
Really? How was it?
So I went and up until, so I went to this, I'm not going to name the food truck because it was a really good food truck, but I go to this food truck and it was nice. It was nice up until this point, but they had a news crew that came and wanted to do an interview. So we, showcased the truck. It was like a Thursday. Friday, I'm about to leave, but I wanted to get back because I hadn't the time to like get my photos and stuff like that. So the owner's not there and there's this other guy. And I get to the window and I'm like, hey, how's it going? I was here, yesterday we was here with the camera crew. I'm just assuming he knew. And I'm like, yeah, we were here with the news and I wanted to take some extra photo and get a photo on the menu and stuff like that, whatever. And the guy looks at me, he's like, okay, what the fuck does that have to do with me? I'm like, what? I was just...
okay, so I can take the pictures or
what? Yeah. It's like, it was all...
yes, then?
And then he's like, what do you want? I was like, okay, well, we was, just trying to find out. Like, did he just say that in my mind? I'm like, but I'm just, bringing myself back,
Keep rolling.
So, yeah, keep it rolling. And I'm like, yeah, I was just trying to find out. I was like, is anybody else back on? He's like, well, I was like, all right, I'll get you somebody. There's this other guy that was there that was on a grill the day before. So he's like, yeah, he's not in yet. He's on his way, whatever. And the guy's still talking in the back. And I'm like, dude, why are you having an attitude? Like, what is it? He's like, if you want to keep talking, I'll come outside. He's like, we can fight. He wanted to fight me, the guy in the cashier at the food truck.
What?
So, yes. True story. And so I'm standing there. I'm just like, what is going on? It was almost like the way he went from 0 to 100. It was like, it was almost like his wife cheated, his girlfriend or his wife cheated on him. and he knew he
thought
knew it was no, he didn't think it was me. It was like he found out who it was and knew what I looked like. And I just so happened to randomly come up to the truck that day. Like, that's how he kind of reacted. Right. Like, and he's gonna come up to me. And I know who you are.
Yeah, dude, I just asked for a picture, man.
So he's out. He comes out of the food truck and he walks up to me. And he's just like, yeah, he said it. I'm like, man, dude. I'm like, he's like, well, we could take this, I'll be here tomorrow. We could meet up. I'm like, dude, I don't live here. Like, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. This is my last day. You live here. I don't live here. So he's just going off and off, and then he walks off. And I'm like, look, let me go check out what's going on down here.
Like, hey, the other guy, what the?
Yeah, it was just weird. And mind you, this is why customers are like waiting on, like, it's like a little hill or whatever. It's like they're waiting, some of them on their phone, but I know they was looking at what was going on.
Like, what the fuck?
But there's people waiting for their meals, and he's doing this all in front of, customers. So I'm going and I hit up the owner and everything. I let the owner know. And he's like, who's it? He's like, does he have glasses? And I was like, yeah, he had glasses, long hair, whatever. He's like, oh yeah, that's one of my cashiers and everything. The way he was acting was like he was like part owner or something, Like it was his truck. He's the El Jefe. So
it's like, no, he's just a dickhead. Like, pay no mind to that guy.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, I'm on my way or whatever. So he gets there and the guy comes over and everything. He kind of calms down when the owner gets there. And he's like, yeah, the owner's like, yo, dude, what the hell are you doing? He's like, yeah, the guys, he comes over there being a dick. Doesn't even sound like I would walk up to the truck. He used to make it seem like he said, he was like, he walked up to the truck and he's like, this guy's being a dick. He comes up, since he's come up to the truck, he's been I'm like, what? All I did was ask for a photo of the menu. Like, this is. So he was like, dude, you're doing all this in front of my business. And he's like, we got customers out here. They're trying to help, he's coming over here helping out our truck and everything. And you
are an insane human being.
So he gets over there, he gets his shirt and everything. He leaves for the day or whatever. He walks across the street.
Yeah, that guy didn't come back.
I don't know. It was just.
Let's hope he was fired.
Yeah. So everything, I say all that to say this. So it was nice all up to that point, but he was the embodiment of what people in that group was talking about. He's like, man, that was like, everything they was talking about was this guy. I was like, that is what they was talking about in Stockton. Because it was just like, I was like,
they're just some hotheads.
Unless he was on something.
Hotheads in Stockton. And they probably are.
Yeah, he probably was on something. Yeah, because that just didn't make. It was very odd.
Probably hadn't slept in 3 days.
But that's what it was. Just very weird.
Probably thought you were the demon who was like hovering over him all night long. Like
probably. But those, but it was. But the food truck itself, it was a hibachi food truck. Food was delicious. Hey, surf and turf fries.
What?
Surf and turf fries.
Surf and turf fries.
Surf and turf. They had the lobster with the shrimp inside the lobster and the rice and the steak and chicken, and it was all of it hibachi. Yeah.
On fries?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like the Happy Family French fry.
Yeah. Stockton, California. And then that was the first time I got introduced to the not that truck, but it was another place that did a machete. You heard of those, right?
A what? A machete?
A machete.
What do you mean?
It's a 4 foot. It's a 4 or 5 foot taco, and it's like shaped as a machete.
A 5 foot taco.
Yeah, it's shaped
as
a machete.
How do you eat a 5 foot taco?
Hey, you try.
But how do you hold the 5 foot taco? You just like put it on the table, like.
I mean, they have it on a plate. I just fork it, whatever. But you can. But the thing about it is, up until that point, where people's like, yeah, tacos, you gotta try this Mexican. I was like, man, look, I've been here in Cali for 2 months. I'm tired of tacos. If I see one more tacos or Mexican, I just want to take a break. But when I saw that, because that's something I haven't seen every week. That's unique, especially the name. It piqued my interest. And the lady herself,
machete. Taco.
The lady herself, she has a billboard and everything. Older lady, but she dresses up pearls and everything. And she came in personally and made it. I was like, wow. She had like not real nice clothes on, jacket, and she took off the jacket and she made it herself. She's like, yeah, thank you for coming in.
The machete.
It's called the machete.
What part of California?
Stockton.
That was in Stockton too?
That was in Stockton.
Oh man, I gotta go to Stockton to get the machete.
No, I mean you might find it here, but it's just like it's rare you can find. Yeah, sometimes I'll go on I'll find places on Facebook Marketplace. So they'll have like new places that start and they'll post on Marketplace. So I found this one place in South Whittier in LA. called Patio Cafes or Patio Cafes, Patio Cafe, and this guy that turned his backyard into a cafe. So he had the tablecloth.
That's legal?
And I guess he got permit and every license or whatever, and he has the TV like the bar or whatever, and you just sit out.
Is this his backyard?
Yeah, this is his backyard, but it looks like a cafe, whatever. And like I go and I see he was advertising chicken wings and sloppy joes. That was the guy. And I was like, that's an interesting combo. Yeah, I was like, chicken and sloppy joes. So I was like, I gotta check him out. So literally, it was Super Bowl Sunday, and I get there. And we just sitting there, just shooting the breeze. And you want a beer? And then, we just talking and everything. So his wife is, Filipino. He has the soul food. She comes out with the Filipino dishes. And that's when I got really introduced to the Filipino. Like, that chicken adobo. And she had it
from a true Filipino home cook. Doing it old world style.
I've been chasing that taste ever since. Like, I've had it at different places, but it's just hers unmatched. But he did the soul food, and then she does the Filipino, and like people that live in the neighborhood is like they just walk over. It's like I wanted to create, somewhere people can come and they don't have to drive all the way downtown. They can just come outside the house, walk over and come to my cafe. So I was talking to him, and I was like, dude, you sure? He's like, do you have any like suggestions or anything? Because it was like new, and I was like, dude, you really have to do a brunch.
Oh yeah,
you would kill
neighborhood brunch. Duh. Get a little band out there all day.
Mariachi.
I'll margarita brunch and
I'll put on that. Yeah, give me a hat. I'll play. I don't know how to play, but I'll try. No, but I was just like, dude, that's a good idea. He was like, I was like, dude, like chicken and waffles or something, mimosas, and he's like, man, that is. I didn't even think of. He's like, I'm gonna need you to come back when I do it because since it was your idea. I'm like, no, dude, like you just created something. It just makes sense. I just
told you to serve at a different time.
Yeah, but I'm like, imagine like people in the neighborhood they can come to your house for brunch like that would Mother's Day, especially holidays and stuff.
Right? Dude, I wish I could have a restaurant in my backyard.
Yeah, like.
I mean, he probably had to redo his kitchen to like.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
to like have everyone come out.
Yeah, he had it set up. Yeah, he had it set up really nicely. But like, I was just like, dude, I was like, unique stuff like that. I'm like, I haven't seen this anywhere else. Like,
what's it called?
Yeah, Patio.
That's right.
Cafe.
Patio Cafe. Where?
That was in Whittier, South Whittier, California.
South Whittier.
Yep. South LA.
I hear they're pretty funny over there.
It was
then over there. They're funnier there than over there.
Yeah, I was told it's an area. It's a dangerous area. It was pretty cool, a dangerous area. But I mean, it was pretty cool. It was just nice to be able to sit there and be like, man, get to experience it. But his wife they coming out with all of these. I'm like, it's just one me. I need to bring people with me. Like, that's how some of these places I was like, it's like, man, where's this place? I would love to bring people with some of these places, people that with these creative ideas, like, so you can see, like, man, so this is what, like, wow. And, like, we just sitting there watching the Super Bowl, like, just hanging out.
Hanging out in the backyard.
How
were the sloppy joes? How were the sloppy joes?
Oh, my gosh. Really.
Better than mine?
He bring out 3. Were they better than yours? Yeah, he had 3 of those. He had like 4 wings, and then she had her. You gotta keep in mind that she had like a whole tin pan of like a nacho. It's like that's how loaded nachos, and then she brung out the pansy, and I'm just like, dude,
best place in California, dude.
I don't know. Awesome. That mean because I had some good stuff in California, but that might be just because of that cafe thing. Mm-hmm. That might be the standout. You see, you helped me with that.
No,
my best place in California. That might be my best place that I especially unique food and everything.
So
Patio Cafe.
Last question: cool. You traveled all across the country, and then you decided to move to Texas.
Yep.
What was drew you to Texas to be like? That's the place I'm going to move.
Well, I said that my first road trip, I was just like, I really enjoyed the South. And I said, if I did move South, it would be Texas. And especially for what I do, like food scenes, you have so many markets you can do food, food and everything, and market whatever I'm doing. Plus, I already knew a few people there that I had a place to stay.
That helps.
So that I mean, pick San Antonio. It's like, oh, whatever. And then we worked something out, and I just like, yeah, you just you just move in or whatever you want. But it was just like, yeah, if you want to have a visit, free place to stay. So when I said I was moving to Texas, I was like, at least I know I have somewhere to start.
And you're kind of in the middle of the country, so you can like
exactly. You can go to it was perfect.
Any direction.
But not to say that I wouldn't move. See what it's like right now. Is I enjoy it. At some point, I want to see what it's like to live in different parts. Maybe I'll do like Midwest or something. Or,
North Dakota, I hear, is fantastic in the wintertime.
In the winter. That's what they're telling me. Back to you, Bob, with sports.
It's kind of what they're known for.
So that's kind of the fun part. Is like, man, like I can actually choose where I want to go. Like, how does one choose? So
it's an open book.
Yes, but it's nice for where I'm at right now. But yeah, it's awesome.
All right, give yourself some shout outs. Where are we following you at?
Yeah, check me out. The Rideshare Foodie. Rideshare Foodie. Foodie. Instagram, YouTube. You can find me. The Rideshare Foodie on my website, ridesharefoodie.com. You can also find me on Twitter and now TikTok. TikTok, you don't stop.
I'm TikToking now.
TikTok.
Yep.
I'm trying to get it. It's crazy.
It took a while. I avoided it like the plague, but now, dude, the app, the actual ability to edit and do things in the TikTok app is probably one of the best actual like video editing apps out there. So like, it got me. It got me because I was just like, oh, you can do all kinds of shit in this motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up because it's like now I know what it felt like. As when you were younger and your parents, he's like, yeah, it's this new thing. You don't know how to do it. And I'm like, now I feel like, man, I'm trying to catch up. Even my iPad, I'm pressing buttons. I'm like, how do you get back? How did I get into this? Like, how do you get, I'm trying to figure, I feel like I'm 80 trying to figure.
It took me, I shit you not, 5 minutes the other day to open my glove box in my car.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Of course, the Tesla, and it was just like, I don't know. And I'm like tapping on it, and I'm like looking through all the screens, and I'm like, where the Tesla? How do I open the damn glove box?
Is it voice command? Knight Rider.
Turns out, yes, I could have just been like, hey, Tesla, open the glove box, and it would have. But I didn't know that at the time either. So, yeah.
That's crazy. That would be one of the first things, especially something like that. I'd be like, this has to be voice activated. Like, do I got cup holders? Tesla, give me a cookie. And the cookie pop out of the glove compartment.
Tesla.
My Tesla has cookies.
Tesla, find me love.
Exactly.
She just drives you to the lady's house and be like, you will be a perfect match.
Yeah. Or it could be, Christine? You could have one of those. You remember? Remember Christine?
Me and Nikki have a fun thing where she pretends to be the obsessed car. Mm-hmm. So like, no, Reyshan, but I love you. Oh, you want to go pick up Tina? Mm-hmm. Fuck Tina. You're mine. Doors lock and she just drives off. Pulls into a U-Haul like storage station, parks inside, and you're just done.
It's funny you say U-Haul. So when I went to Anchorage, Alaska, they were out of rental cars. So I had to get a U-Haul.
That is a good story.
Yeah, so funny thing about, I went to Anchorage, Alaska, and they were out of rental cars. So I had to order or rent a U-Haul truck, 15-inch box truck, driving around. So someone asked me, did you try to do Uber?
Did you?
And a U-Haul? Nah, I didn't do it.
You totally should have, though.
I should try to, I would have loved to see somebody's face as I'm pulling up in a box truck.
Fucking so good. You should have done it for the whole day and just filmed every single person you pulled up to. Would have been amazing.
The reaction.
Yeah, so good.
What do you do? I'm gonna post it on my Facebook. I'm gonna ask them, what would you do if somebody pulled up to you in a box truck?
I think it was hilarious. I'd get in. I'd be like, dude, what are you doing? I'd be like, this is all they had, man. They literally did that because that's the true story, right? They didn't have any rental cars. They didn't have any rental cars. They had to give you that. You still have to work, so you're trying.
I don't have to work, and then it's not 4 doors.
Oh, right.
It's not 4 doors, so like if it's like a group of people, like I would open the latch. You got to get in the back.
Pile in the back, guys.
That's comedy gold.
It
Though.
would have been so funny. So even if they were like, all right, well, I guess we'll just call another Uber, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can't wait. That's my story. That's one of my favorite stories now. That's one of my favorite. It's like, so what, you tried to do Uber in a U-Haul truck? I was like, man. At the very least, I would have rented it out. Yeah, I thought about it. I would, at the very least, I could have rented it out for some people. I was like, man, like, because it was just sitting outside. I was like, somebody could use it to move some sofas.
Anybody need to move anything?
You could pay me a little bit of money. Huh? It's a little side hustle.
I hope they didn't try to charge you by the mile. Did they?
That's why I said I didn't really go anywhere.
Shut up. They didn't have any rental cars. They made you take the U-Haul, and they were still going to charge you U-Haul prices?
There's U-Haul. No, it wasn't the same place. So I had to go to a separate place. And a U-Haul, it was the actual U-Haul. So
okay.
You pay mileage, and then you pay for the truck. So I got so I had to get that, and then that was a good thing about knowing locals. So I had somewhere I was staying, and then they had already had plans or whatever. They said we're gonna take you here for a road trip, and so it just said I didn't really need to use it.
But you had it just in case.
But I had it just in case. Yeah.
Somebody needed to move something.
Yeah, somebody had to need a love seat. IKEA. But that's the great thing about knowing locals, because if I didn't know anybody, I would have flew in and like.
All right, we got to do this again, and we'll just do story time.
There you go.
Just all the fun, crazy stories you want to tell. Yeah,
like machetes. Make sure y'all look up machetes.
A story that you didn't get to tell about the drive-through.
The drive-through. What drive-through?
There was the where she
talking about Little Rock.
Yeah,
Little Rock, Arkansas. If you beep that horn one motherfucking more time, and then I beep the horn again. No, but yeah.
Stay tuned for an update on that story.
Oh my gosh, so many experiences.
Awesome. Well, Kreskin, thank you for hanging out, and thank you for doing what you do.
Yes,
and I look so forward to that app. Because you use
man.
the shit out of that thing.
Yes, plus you get paid for your recommendations. Isn't that awesome? Paid for something people do all the time.
Right?
Like, recommendations.
I sold for a very short period of time. I tried to talk people into taking timeshare tours. Mm-hmm. Right? So they would stop to ask for information. Like, where should I eat? Where should I go? And that's the stop. Mm-hmm. Right? And then I talk you into taking a timeshare tour.
Mm-hmm. Very smooth.
Right? But like that was, now you're not going to have to get harassed by timeshare people asking where you should go eat. You can just use the Rideshare Foodie app.
Yeah, I just thought that would be interesting to use the Uber route, because there was so many people trying to copy and do their own rideshare. I was like, why not just take the format or part of the format and use it real time to go
meet locals,
food drinks, and connect. Why not?
Why not? So you did.
Yeah.
Just do it, people. Just do it.
Yep.
Awesome. Go follow Kreskin.
Thank you so much. The Rideshare Foodie. Thank you so much, folks. You guys have an awesome holiday.
Happy holidays. Happy. I'm not a singer, and I apologize for that.
That's awesome.
Go watch my show. Cheers, guys.